and welcome to our sports talk here with Betfred. Here's the wonderful Peter Spencer. How are you doing today, Peter?
Yeah, great, thanks very much.
Fabulous. I'm Katie as always, and we're going to chat today first of all about the FA Cup. So City take on Arsenal tonight at 8 p.m. What's that game looking like so far?
Well, Betfred have City as the favourites, probably because they're at home, and they've got the stronger squad, which I've talked about before. And if they do, the two coaches who know each other so well, they might both rotate to a degree. So it's hard to get the odds together on who score first, although no surprise it's Haaland to score first. He's 15-8 to score the first goal. So Betfred have City 8-11 to win the tie, and Arsenal 16-5. A draw, now that is popular, that's 11-4. Getting lots of people thinking it'll be 1-1. And if it is a draw, then there's a replay, which will not please either of the coaches. So I mentioned Haaland. Betfred have already lost £1 million on this guy so far this season. That's because of the Double Delight Hat-Trick Heaven promotion that we do. Fred's eyes behind the City every time he plays because he's costing a fortune. In fact, he was telling me this week, and he's been in America, he's back now, that he felt that Haaland is costing this company at Betfred more than all the other players in the Premier League combined because of his goal scoring. He's got 31 goals so far this season in all competitions. We have one customer who I interviewed this week. He's a window cleaner from Manchester, and I interviewed him because he's got £5 on Haaland to beat Dixie Dean's record of 60 goals in top flight football. Now, that record has been in place for 96 years. Now, this is an indication of just what a fantastic player Haaland is. I'm not going to start saying that I can remember what football was like in them days, but I imagine it's a lot harder now to score so many goals with the speed and the athleticism of the average footballer. But then again, older people might think Dixie Dean's record is never been beaten. 96 years that's been in place. So anyway, this customer, he had £5 on at 100-1 at the beginning of the season. Though the odds have gone massively down now. He's into targeting Shearer's record and Andy Cole's record as well. 34 goals are well within his size. He's a penalty taker as well, so that adds to his tally. So when City play Arsenal tonight at the Etihad, we're 10-1 that Haaland gets another hat-trick. That'll be his 5th so far of the season, and it is phenomenal, his goal scoring. We talked about how City sometimes, probably against the better teams, struggle to a degree in terms of funneling all the play through him. But then against Wolves, he answered all those critics, including me, I've got to say, by scoring out another hat-trick. So, you know, he does get on the end of it. If you want a goal-scoring machine, you look no further than him. He's absolutely phenomenal. So, Haaland's 15-8 with Betfred to score the first goal. Alvarez, now he's getting into it now, and he might actually start. He's 7-2. Foden, his form dipped a little this season. He's 11-2 to score the first goal. Mahrez, well, he's really shining at the moment. He's 6-1. De Bruyne 9-1. Grealish is also 9-1. Odegaard for Arsenal, he's having a fantastic season. He's 9-1 to score the first goal, as is Saka.
And breaking records like that, what would that mean for the sport of football? You know, a record that stood for decades, almost a century. What would that mean for football and the future of the sport?
Well, it makes you realise what a phenomenal player Haaland is, and also the way football's going in terms of every player having his own job. His job, put the ball in the onion bag. Other players like De Bruyne create the chances. I think it's getting a little bit more, everyone's doing their own part in the game. You know, you don't get many defenders getting right up there now, scoring so many goals. It's the centre forward scores the goals, the wingers create the goals, and each team is getting a player like that, such as Harry Kane, and obviously Haaland as well. United with Rashford, certain players are scoring all the goals, and you realise what the importance of strikers and the value of a striker, because it's not as easy as people make out. You've got to have fantastic composure and shoot at the right time. And what's significant about those three that I mentioned is the goalkeepers never know when they're going to shoot. When they play the ball, the foot is in such a position that they don't know when they're going to shoot, because they don't have much of a kickback.
Right.
So that's what's happening there.
Really impressive that. And of course, United play Reading tomorrow at 8 p.m. again in the late kick-off. What's that game looking like there? You know, we're expecting United to win there, of course. What's it looking like for Betfred?
Well, Betfred have United 1-8 to win, so massive odds on there.
Yeah.
Return of Ince to, well, both Inces actually, back to Old Trafford, father and son there. And then Reading are 16-1 to pull off a tremendous giant killing act. Martial is 7-2 to score first, the same odds as superstar Marcus Rashford. And then we've got Fernandes 4-1 to score the first goal. Garnacho, who's been unlucky in that he's not often starting for United, but when he does come on, he makes an impact. He's 6-1 to score the first goal. Probably bring him on. I mean, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't start him, because he deserves it, and he'll probably put in an excellent performance against Reading. For the winning the FA Cup outright, well, Betfred have City the favourites 5-2, United second favourites 9-2, so City 5-2, United 9-2. Tottenham 6-1, Liverpool 7-1, and then we've got teams like Leeds 25-1, Fulham 25-1. Arsenal, well, they're 10-1, probably because they're playing City on tonight.
Definitely, and of course, giant killing you mentioned then, but Wrexham plays Sheffield this weekend. Wrexham are a bit of a club that's been thrown into the limelight recently with their new owners taking over, Ryan Reynolds, the huge actor taking over there. What do you think it means that these actors are now taking over football clubs? You know, the money that they've got, they're now putting into these teams. Is that a good thing for the sport, do you reckon?
Well, I think it's fantastic for Welsh football, and particularly Wrexham with their supreme pedigree at top flight football. It's enabled them to get back into it from the really tough conference, at the top of the conference as it happens. So Wrexham, with that huge support base in North Wales, they're 16-5 to beat Sheffield United. Sheffield United are odds on at Betfred 4-5. The draw, that's possible as well. That's 12-5. So if there is going to be any giant killing, then it's going to be North Wales and Wrexham.
Yeah, and I think as well as the money being put in by the owner itself, but also I think Ryan Reynolds is a Canadian, if I'm not wrong. So to have a Canadian owner, you know, with a huge presence taking over a Wales club must be great to attract fans from all over the world into the sport, really, mustn't it?
Yeah, and you can imagine in social media it's made an impact as well. And from my understanding, when they're in the stand, these great Hollywood greats, they're having to have the rules explained to them by the locals, such as the offside. Don't get me on that. But the offside is complex to start with, so I can imagine if you're not right into it, you would struggle with that. So it's good. I love the FA Cup in terms of it does throw up all these quirky stories. It's a great break from the Premier League.
It is, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice to sit back and enjoy rather than it being so stressful in the Premier League. But of course, Premier League you've mentioned a few times then. What's it looking like for the winners and the bottom of the table there in the Premier League?
Well, Betfred have Arsenal 8-11, the favourites now, City 6-5. Manchester United, they've drifted slightly on the back of those two disappointing results in London. They're 40-1, Newcastle 66-1, but we do think it'll be those four who'll take the top four places in the Premier League. And at the bottom, well, it's getting really tight now. Bournemouth 1-3 to be relegated.
Wow.
Everton still without a manager, 8-13. Southampton 4-6. Wolves 5-2, and Nottingham Forest, who've rallied somewhat, they're at 11-4 to be relegated.
Quite a scary time at Everton, isn't it? You know, you lose your manager. It's been a really tough year as it is. He's only been in his job for a year anyway, Frank Lampard, under a year even. So that must be quite a scary time to be involved at the club, mustn't it, really?
Yeah, and they're also getting the new ground as well. And they've got the record of being the only team to have been in the top flight football for forever. So it would be a major story if Everton should be relegated. But with the money they've got there, there's probably worse teams or clubs in worse positions than them. Although the style of football is a little bit on the sad side in that they don't rely on pace like a lot of the other teams. They're a bit of a workman-like team, shall we say.
Absolutely, and I believe you always have some amazing winners at Betfred. Every time we speak, someone's either won thousands or even millions sometimes. But I believe a lady has won 90k from a 60p bet, which is just incredible. Tell me about that, Peter.
Yeah, well, this lady, Elaine Pollitt from Kent, she's 69 years of age. She's a great-grandmother, and she often has the grandchildren around to stay, which becomes relevant in a minute. She won £90,000 from a 60p accumulator on the Irish Lotto. All the numbers came in, and she's a retired factory worker. Her husband's recently retired as well, so it's great timing for them. So they're going to use 40,000 of it to pay off a mortgage completely, which is a great feeling for her. And then they're going to get a minibus so they can take these children, the extended family, on trips around the country and also to France, which is handy because they live in Kent. And she's also going to improve the garden, make it more child friendly. They've already got a swing and a slide and a trampoline, but they're now going to have a tree house as well, which they're going to build from the money. They're going to take out a flower bed and put Astro Rat down so that the kids can play more in the garden. This is also encourage the children to go and visit her and her husband more at their house in Kent. And as Fred said, it's just fantastic that they've been able to change the lifestyle of this family in Kent with that tremendous win.
That's so nice. You can read more on that in the paper as well. We always have a lovely column from Betfred in the paper. And if you want to bet like Elaine and win potentially £1,000, you can do so online in Betfred stores and via the app as well.